Good morning, I'm Scott Willison, owner of the Confluence Fly Shop in Bellingham, Washington. Today we are going to tie a rolled muddler, actually a beadhead rolled muddler. This is a fantastic fly in the late summer, fall when the water's low, clear. Works well for sea run cutthroat, coho salmon, bull trout, everything we've got around here. So I'm going to show you how to tie it today. So we'll start with our hook, which is a Gamakatsu S11 4L2H in a size 8. And I've got a 7/64 gold tungsten bead that I'm using for the head. We're using a red 70 Denier Ultra thread. Alright, so for our tail, we're going to use natural mallard flank. And I'm just going to strip away some fibers. I like to kind of roll it in my hand like so. That gets everything semi-even. And then the body is going to be this number 12 gold and silver Mylar tinsel. It's double-sided, it's gold on one side, silver on the other. For this particular fly, I am going to use the silver side, so I'm going to tie it in on top of the shank with the gold side facing up. And I actually tie it in up toward the bead. And then I'm going to wrap this back. I do a lot of my Mylar bodies this way. This seems to keep them pretty durable and last through a few fish. So we'll go ahead and brush that first layer with super glue, brush on Zap-A-Gap, and then we'll wrap back over it. If you don't do that, your body will tend to come apart after a couple of fish. Alright, now we're going to build up a little bit of thread just to kind of lock that bead into place, so it's not sliding around on us. And then I'm going to wrap backwards about a bead's width and just cover that in thread. Okay, now we're going to add a little bit of flash for our wing. I'm going to take a couple strands of, this is a gold crystal flash here. Tie those in the middle and then fold them back. And then we're going to add a strand of this lateral scale here. This is going to give it a little additional flash. And then we'll trim that up about even with the tail. Now we're going to go ahead and top that wing with some more mallard. do the same thing. I'm going to roll that between my thumb and forefinger. And then get that going back also about the length of the tail. Just cover up the butts with thread there. Lastly, we're going to use some natural deer hair. And we're going to tie in a little bit for a wing. And sparse is key on this fly. I don't think I have more than 10 strands of deer hair that I'm working with. We can always thin it out more if we need to. And we'll just bind that down. And then we're going to take a clump about the thickness of a number 2 pencil. This is a little bit more than I want, so I'm going to thin that out too. But get all that soft, fluffy stuff out from under that under fur. We'll put that on the top of the shank and take a couple loose wraps of thread around it. And then I'm just going to rotate and spin that thread. And get it to flare and spin around the hook there at the head. Make sure I'm sweeping my fibers back so I can get in there and tie this thing off cleanly. Alright, now all we have left to do is trim this fly up a little bit here. So I like to trim it in stages. I'm going to start with just my regular scissors. These are a Dr. Slick tungsten carbide scissor, and I'm just going to kind of trim everything real blocky. So pull out the sides. If you lay those scissors down on top of the wing and kind of compress it down, you can get in there and trim the shorter fibers without cutting off your entire wing. On the bottom, I'm going to really lay those scissors tight to the hook and try to trim that flush. Got a couple other squirrely fibers I want to get rid of here. There we go. I'm liking that. Now for the finishing touches, I'm going to switch scissors. I've got a pair of these curved Dr. Slick arrow scissors, or all-purpose scissors. They're fantastic for getting the rounded heads on your muddlers. I'm going to go ahead and take the fly out of the vise and just hold that so it's facing me. And then I will just rotate the scissors around, kind of bracing them up against the bead. And we'll just go all the way around that hook. And the curvature to the scissors gives you exactly what you want in finishing this head. The deer hair is the part that often intimidates people, but it's real easy if you got the right scissors to do it. And then we'll go ahead and put that back in the vise. And there you have it, the gold beadhead rolled muddler. A fantastic fly for sea-run cutthroat, resident rainbows, bull trout, coho salmon, whatever swims our rivers. I like to fish this thing on a floating line and strip it back to me, casting into the slower water, and it just works incredibly well. So thank you for watching. Again, I'm Scott Willison with the Confluence Fly Shop. Be sure to check us out on YouTube and like and subscribe to our channel. Thanks.